The whole game did not take 10 seconds for him.
So we have a small break for this game. It will start again. They are changing the clock.
But actually it's quite interesting what will be the strategy of the players, because after all it's very important how the game finishes to get the white pieces in the tournament.
It's true. This is actually what is at stake tonight in this tournament. Besides, of course, the show and the case. I mean, it's the opening ceremony, so people get something to enjoy also about chess. But for the players, it's important to try and finish in the first 3 out of 6 in order to get one more white.
Especially, and it's a quite short tournament with 5 rounds, so every white color can count.
Yeah, it's not like Vacancy. If you play 7 whites, 6 black, then the difference is not too big. But here,
you get a lot of possibilities. But here, it's not so much. I mean, for the moment, nothing is really going on. It's a rather slow game, but as we know, all the Blitz games will heat up soon. Yeah.
Yes, very quickly, of course. So Magnus Carlsen has put a pawn on c3, while usually in the Sicilian we put a knight there. But here there is something special. Maybe this bishop on c5.
Yeah, but it's also kind of clear that both players try to be extremely original in the opening and. Basically, they just want to play chess without any preparation, and I think they succeeded. Yeah? Because probably we never had this position before in the history.
I have no idea indeed. Yeah. It's interesting because a few decades ago we used to have great games between the 2 Ks, and now we have these 2 K with Carlsen Caruana.
Yes, with C's. Actually, now it started as a pause, but it reminds me of the Sveshnikov now. I mean, the structure with the pawn on e5.
True, but black has an asset with this bishop on a7, which is not.
Exactly. Usually, black is anyway trying to change this bishop, but on the other hand, the d6 pawn can be slightly more vulnerable. I mean, white with queen e2 prepared rook d1, and probably rook d1 and bishop g5 is gonna come.
Yeah.
The question is in which order.
And then for the future, there is no knight coming to d5 for white except
for the moment.
For the moment,
of course.
But in the long run.
Yeah, bishop g5 happened.
First, yeah, maybe otherwise queen c7 would have been played. So time-wise, it's very equal, 3 minutes and a few seconds each.
Yeah, now it's a difficult decision for Blitz. Should you play d5? Should you play g5?
G5, right.
Or not? It's quite a committing move, but it also has some strategical trumps to resolve this spin. But of course, the black king will be forever weak.
Yeah, he's done it.
Yeah, because there was actually hard to suggest anything else.
And now a knight is coming to f4 probably.
Yeah, knight g6, knight f4. So now we see some Spanish motifs in general, or Italian. I mean, this game is mixing every aspect.
So the bishop on g3 is usually, white would like to prevent knight f4 by playing g3, the pawn to g3, but he will need a lot of.
Yeah, I mean, now king h1, f3, bishop f2 takes a lot of time.
Indeed,
so probably Magnus wants some quick action against the d6 pawn. Probably rook a d1, maybe with the idea to remove the d3 bishop in time after knight g6. But after rook d1, there is bishop g4, doing an exchange.
Yes, it's true.
For example, so maybe king h1
is useful after all.
Yes. And also it's tricky that white cannot play knight e3 because the knight on b3 is hanging.
Yes,
so
that's true. Yeah.
Exactly.
So his ideal would be rook d1, bishop c2, but then it's too much time consuming.
Yes. So now we understand why knight bd2 was played.
Knight g6. Well, probably when a knight comes to f4, he will just take it.
He will just take it, but the knight on c4 can be also slightly out of squares afterwards, because it's like in the Sveshnikov. Well, actually, black's position looks tremendous.
Promising.
Tremendous.
So it seems he has no real choice now, is he?
But let's not forget that in the long run, also black is risking, so anything can happen here.
Caruana has taken a lead on the king side, on the clock.
Yeah, now it's really difficult. I mean, to find the right reaction here, so but king h1 came automatically. This is incredible. I mean,
just doesn't care about the pawn on h3 because, I mean, files are going to be open
Yeah, but with the speed
king.
he makes such a decisions. Yeah, this is what
Stunts.
what is quite astonishing. Yeah.
Actually, his choice was quite scary. Here.
Yes, but normally you take some 15 seconds at least.
To do it.
But he did it instantly. So this is how you have to play Blitz actually.
Yeah.
And
Well,
taking
Magnus
over the initiative is the most important thing.
Yeah, but Magnus' feeling is so great that that he plays Blitz, like, I mean, extremely well.
Definitely. And now the psychological situation can turn. Black might win the pawn, but suddenly white gets activity with rook g1, then maybe knight e3, queen f3, bishop c4, and suddenly white can start the attack.
So the character of the game has changed now dramatically with this pawn sacrifice, or more or less. He had to give this pawn, but still Magnus is probably not unhappy with the position he got now.
Yeah, definitely, because after g4 it looked very scary, and now suddenly, especially your opponent is done on 1 minute.
Yeah, 120 actually. What we see on the screen.
This is right. This is wrong. Yeah.
Wrong.
Now it's okay. Now
Yeah.
it's corrected. Knight is
right. It's coming back. Knight coming to f5 soon.
Because in Blitz, many times the most important thing that your position is easy to play.
That's
the most
gain
important.
time.
Exactly. Yeah, it's many times the key factor. One nice trick with knight g4.
But,
yeah, it was.
but unfortunately, it looks like black's pieces are a bit.
But queen f6.
Yeah, queen f6.
Yeah, actually it was very interesting because knight takes h2 would have been met by queen takes h3, trapping the knight on h2. But now this queen f6 is a great move. I mean, Fabiano is also playing this game excellently.
Yeah, because there is a mating threat on f2, or at least threat to win the queen for the moment. After queen takes f6, he will take with the king on f6, and or maybe even with the knight to be able to drive back.
Yeah, definitely.
But
No, what
has
Fabiano is doing is really impressive. First of all, he took over the initiative with black. Then, when the situation looked like it's out of control, he suddenly managed to stabilize the situation, and then the pawn is a pawn.
It's true. Yeah, and especially there's a big problem with f2, which I don't know really how he is going to solve it.
He might lose an exchange.
It's probably an exchange.
Because queen
already.
f6, king takes f6.
Yeah, and he cannot protect f2.
Yeah, incredible how quickly things are changing here.
And down to, on the screen we have 20 minutes. Now this is not clear whether he has only 20.
Yeah, well, basically, objectively, maybe it's over.
Yeah, it's probably over. He might consider resignation, maybe, but...
Because it's also very hard to fight on.
Yeah, because you lose an exchange, a second pawn,
and
probably.
Change the queen. You are forced to change the queen.
It's basically over. Yeah, he has to sacrifice the exchange this way. He's down to 20 seconds.
Knight takes h4. Yeah, thanks to this, he's still alive. But okay, rook h8 is coming.
Yeah, so his idea is to pin the bishop on g4 if black takes.
But even this doesn't. Yes, no, it works because rook g1 is a pin. Yeah, and
yes,
exactly.
F3, nothing. But still, it's going to be. But
yeah, because even then, all the moves. Yeah, just knight f3, rook takes g4, check, king f6, and exactly.
Yeah, now he.
And okay, black will simply exchange the rooks.
Yes.
There is also knight e1 check. So after bishop g3, then rook h8, king g2, knight e1, and it's
so
over.
He's forced to
play rook g3 maybe.
G3 maybe.
But okay, this is very sad. And now he will change the rook, yeah, with check and rook
check
g8.
And rook g8, good technique, of course. He resigns, yeah. So Magnus, he played his usual strange opening, so not really strange, but without many pretensions. And
yeah, but basically, as we see in Blitz, things are happening so fast that just one mistake and the game can be over.
Yeah, it's true. But I was impressed by Fabiano's cool reactions. after Magnus tried to change the character of the game by sacrificing the pawn on h3 and
well,
opening
in fact, after bishop e3, it seems that queen takes e3 was a big mistake. He should have
should
taken
take
back with the pawn, covering
right.
the squares, and
or
then
gone
it's
back to e2 with the queen
yes, yes.
instead of f3.
But he missed queen f6.
Yeah,
it was a
which was
brilliant.
easy to miss,
it
in
was a
fact,
brilliant move. So I don't know. Maybe we can switch to some other game to follow.
I saw that another game finished as well.
Yeah, only in the middle, because
yeah,
even Magnus is following something.
So we have Aronian
No,
and Nakamura.
Nakamura Gelfand. No,
Gelfand, sorry, yeah.
Yes.
It's true. So we can see.
You can only try to see something.
It looks like there is a piece up for white, isn't it? Or we don't really know what is on c4 or.
Yes, I mean black
It's
has
over,
c4,
yeah?
b4, a5 pawns, it seems.
Seems to be.
And king g6, rook
winning
e6.
for
Yeah, it's over.
And in the third
It was
game,
quite interesting that Naka just looked up and he
Yeah,
was
seemed to be
surprised and
surprised
shocked that
by a
Magnus lost with white. Yeah, it's. But okay, here really anything can happen.
Yeah, and actually in Blitz